Deputy District Attorney Anne-Marie Rosa with a lesson on possession for sale of a controlled substance as defined in California Health and Safety Code, sections 11351, 11351.5, 11378, 11378.5. The jury instructions contained in CalCrim 2302 provide the elements of this crime. To prove that the defendant is guilty of this crime, the people must prove that 1. The defendant unlawfully possessed a controlled substance or an analog of a controlled substance. 2. The defendant knew of its presence. 3. The defendant knew of the substance's nature or character as a controlled substance analog. 4. When the defendant possessed the controlled substance, he or she intended to sell it or that someone else sell it. An analog of a controlled substance has a chemical structure substantially similar to the structure of a controlled substance. Or has is represented as having or is intended to have a stimulant, depressant, or hallucinogenic effect on the central nervous system substantially similar to or greater than the effect of a controlled substance. Selling for the purpose of this law means exchanging the controlled substance for money, services, or anything of value. A usable amount is a quantity that is enough to be used by someone as a controlled substance. Useless traces or debris are not usable amounts. On the other hand, a usable amount does not have to be enough, in either amount or strength, to affect the user. The people do not need to prove that the defendant knew which specific controlled substance was possessed. 2 or more people may possess something at the same time. A person does not have to actually hold or touch something to possess it. It is enough if the person has control over it or the right to control it, either personally or through another person. Agreeing to buy a controlled substance does not, by itself, mean that a person has control over that substance. It is a felony to possess a controlled substance with the intent to sell. The section applies to illicit street drugs, such as cocaine and heroin, hallucinogens like GHB, peyote, ecstasy, and LSD, as well as to common prescription opiate drugs such as oxycodone, OxyContin, hydrocodone, Vicodin, and codeine. Unlike simple possession, a conviction under HS 11351 makes you ineligible for drug diversion programs. Evidence we consider when charging this crime. If you possess more drugs than what an average person would personally consume, this would indicate possession for sale. If the drugs are packaged in numerous separate baggies, balloons, bundles, bindles, or in any other way commonly associated with drug sales, this suggests possession for sale. If found in possession of such items as weighing scales, measuring instruments, other tools that may be used to dilute, separate, or package drugs, or lots of cash, especially in small denominations, this suggests intent to sell. Another sign of intent for sale is several people, suspected buyers, coming to your house or car for short periods of time. Some common defenses presented include: the police conducted an illegal search. For example, an illegal search and seizure claim may arise out of a warrantless search where the exception to the warrant is in question. In an earlier lesson, you learned about exceptions including vehicles or incident to arrest. A search that exceeds the scope of the warrant. For example, the warrant only authorizes a search of your bedroom, but the officers search the rest of your house and discover the illegal drugs in your kitchen drawer. An illegal detention occurred. If the police were not legally entitled to stop you in the first place, any drugs that they subsequently find may be excluded on a motion to suppress evidence. No intent to sell, the defendant only possessed the drugs for personal use. This defense works best when the defendant has no past record of drug sales. I'm DDA Rosa, and that is your lesson on possession for sales.